I am here to discuss the reproductive system. A reproductive system is a system of sex organs within an organism which work together for the purpose of sexual production. Both the male and female reproductive system consist of the organs that produce and transport gametes. Each system includes paired gonads, which contain the germ cells that give rise to gametes. Let us discuss first the male reproductive organs. Male reproductive organs are inside and outside the body. The paired testes are the male gonads. The testes lies in a sac called scrotum, a maze of small ducts carrying developing sperm to the left or right epididymis, a tightly coiled tube that receives and stores sperm from one testis. Each epididymis opens into a vas deferens, a duct that travels upward out of the scrotum and connects with the left or right ejaculatory duct. The two ejaculatory ducts empty into the urethra, the tube that extends the length of the penis and carries both urine and semen out of the body. Semen includes secretions from several accessory glands. The two seminal vesicles, one of which opens into each vas deferens, secrete most of the fluid in semen. In addition, prostate gland wraps around part of the urethra and contributes a thin, milky, alkaline fluid that activates the sperm to swim. Let us now go to the female reproductive system. Female reproductive organs are inside the body. Female sex cells develop within the ovaries, which are the paired gonads in the abdomen. Within each ovary of a newborn female area, about a female oocyte, the cells that gives rise to mature egg cells. Nourishing follicle cells surround each oocyte. Approximately once a month, beginning at puberty, one ovary releases the single most mature oocyte, leaving cilia sweep at the mature oocyte into finger-like projections of one of the two fallopian tubes. If sperms are present, fertilization occurs in a uterine tube, the tube that carries the oocyte or zygote into muscular sac-like organ, the uterus. During pregnancy, the fetus develops into a uterus. The endometrium, inner lining of the uterus, has a rich blood supply that is in both menstruation and pregnancy. The cervix is the neckline narrowing at the lower end of the uterus. The cervix opens with the vagina, the tube that leads outside the body. Two pairs of fleshy folds protect the vaginal opening on the outside, which are the labia majora and the labia minora. The clitoris is a 2 cm long structure at the upper junction of both pairs of labia. Together, the labia, clitoris, and the vaginal opening constitute the vulva, or external female genitalia. In a sexual reproduction, the offspring contain genetic information from only one parent. All offspring are identical to the parent and to one another, while sexual reproduction requires two parents, each of which contributes half the DNA in each offspring. Sexual reproduction is extremely common among animals. Fertilization is the union of two gametes, and the product of fertilization is the zygote. There are two kinds of fertilization, which are the external and internal fertilization. In external fertilization, it occurs in the environment, while internal fertilization, it occurs in an animal's body. Development requires differentiation, the formation of specialized cells. Animals that undergo indirect development have a larva stage that doesn't resemble the adult. Metamorphosis transforms the larva into an adult. In direct development, young animals resemble miniature adults. Spermatogenesis is the production of sperm, and it begins when a male reaches puberty. It begins with a diploid germ cell, which divides mitotically to yield a stem cell and primary spermatocyte. The first meiotic division produces two haploid secondary spermatocytes. In meiosis II, the secondary spermatocytes divide, yielding four haploid spermatids. The spermatids develop into mature sperm cells. Gonadotropin-releasing hormone from the hypothalamus stimulates the anterior pituitary gland to release follicle-stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. These hormones affect the testes, triggering the release of testosterone necessary for sperm formation and the development of secondary sex characteristics. Let us now move to oogenesis, the production of egg cells. Germ cells divide mitotically to form two primary oocytes. In meiosis I, the cytoplasm of the primary oocyte divides unevenly as it splits into the one large haploid secondary oocyte and a much smaller haploid polar body. In meiosis II, the secondary oocyte again divides unequally, yielding the large haploid ovum and another small polar body. Meiosis in the female begins before birth and completes at fertilization. The ovaries secrete estrogen and progesterone, hormones that stimulate development of female sexual characteristics. After intercourse, sperm cells swim toward the oocyte. Of the 100 million sperm that begin the journey in the vagina, only about 200 approach the egg cell in a uterine tube. Those that make it must penetrate two layers to contact the ovum. An outer layer of follicle cells surrounds a thin, clear jelly layer of proteins and carbohydrates, then encases the oocyte. On contact with the follicle cells surrounding this oocyte, each sperm acrosome bursts, spilling enzymes that digest both outer layers. Then, sperm cell membrane fuses with the egg cell membrane. Lastly, sperm cell nucleus enters egg cell and fuses with its nucleus. Next is blastocyst stage. The single-celled zygote begins to divide into a solid ball of cells. Then, it becomes a hollow ball of cells called a blastocyst, attaching to the lining of the mother's uterus. Next is the embryonic stage. The major internal organs and external features begin to emerge, forming an embryo. In this stage, the heart, brain, and the spinal cord become visible. Arms and legs start to develop. Last stage is the fetal stage. Once the form features of the embryo begin to grow and develop, the organism is considered a fetus. Differentiation and specialization of structures happens during this time. Contraceptives, or also known as birth control, is the use of devices or practices that prevent the union of sperm and egg cells. The hormones in the pill stop ovulation. No ovulation means there's no egg hanging around from sperm to fertilize, so pregnancy can't happen. Here is a table of sexually transmitted infections. Thank you for watching and God bless. Miss Papasari ko, miss.